I think Martel was named, came from Castle Plunkett to do them, to bore for the pump. But he started boring now, because he had 200 and something feet of rock to bore through, with a small little engine, of about a 2 horsepower engine. And it took him 2 years. And we say, I got the water in here, and the men bored the same hole outside there for the water of 150 feet in 5 hours. And it took him around 2 years to do with a little engine. Remember that?
I remember.
Tripod, and he'd only, each day, by spending the whole day, about 2 foot is all he do, and maybe some days a foot, and he get broke down several days.
He had no power.
It took 2 years to do it.
It was strange, Paddy, that it was on top of a hill with more for water. Like,
well, that time there was a man, what did they call a man that was wrong with the bit of red?
Diviner,
Diviner.
Yes, and of course through him was just get the water there, that was a swing.
I
remember
in Cloneybearne we get £5 to a fella from Longford with a twig. And in the farthest height from the house, below on the land, was the water.
Yes.
And we got Healy, Merton,
That's
Healy, and he came down and right outside, and he said there was enough to do the village.
Yeah.
But it was in solid rock. And Owen Hunt came over and he says, God, I'll get you to do mine. And Owen got his done right outside the door. But Owen's wasn't as powerful. It didn't do Dez's new house.
Yeah.
So it wasn't as strong, but ours, there was enough in it. And Paul took lots of the pipe up out of it. That pump went, and I got to replace another one. But it was in solid rock. But he had it done in 2 days.
Oh, has he?
Oh, he had. He had a great job.
That must be later time.
Ah, that was in... Well, what were you, Ursula?
It would have been maybe 69 or that
Oh, it was. And I'm into
when we were talking about 52 and 3.
Oh, yes.
That's right,
Way back.
We
used to be going to school that time, and there used to be tinkers. We thought we were badly off, and no one had money that time. But the poor old tinkers were real itinerants that time. In a canvas,
about 10 or 12.
canvas tent, like.
I remember coming
And
up
even in the winter, and they come round to all that, and people were decent to them. They give them hay, they'd have a horse or two, and give them flour and stuff like that.
And tea and sugar.
And tea and sugar.
They were decent tinkers. That was not like now.
Sort of decent. They weren't like, no, it's totally different now. But Paddy's father, one time he was at a fair in Finn, and there was this tinker woman going around begging, like, she had the shawl, she had the big shawl and the little book in it, like, the baby in it, like. The baby was a fair bushel of gas one, and
he had a bit of a beard on.
Paddy's father said to the old tinker, it's time to wean that fellow. And she said, she wasn't too happy. She said, would you ever kiss my ears? And the next thing was the book took up his head out of the shawl, and mine too, sorry.
He had nothing to learn.
At that stage.
And 3 or 4, and he's still stuck.
He's been on the hind tit.
But with another, the same, my grandfather was this child, he was kind of witty, and this tinker woman was at the fair at Tusk, and we got, she had this child, and she says, 6 for the baby, she says, and my grandmother looked at him, he says, I wouldn't take him for that.
Back there to the radio, we used to have the wet and dry, and the Conneries and the Connors to watch the matches.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
But John Connor took a shine, John and Jack Connor and
yes.
But Jack anyway took a shine, he used to be coming up looking at me, and I didn't want to see him. But there was a plank on the river.
Oh yes.
So of course Micheál Connery is alive to this day, and he could tell it. They turned the plank over, and they got their saw, and they sawed about an inch, and turned it back again. And of course John came and bang,
down into the middle of it.
Down into the middle of it. They used up and watched the match on a Sunday, because we had a radio.
Yeah, the only one in our village at home come out was Pageant's, was John Pageant. He had one put in for the Island in 1944.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I remember watching, went down to Connor's listening to matches.
Oh, yeah.
With old Mrs. Connor
That's
and
right.
Matty, the Lord of Mercy, who was steeped in sport, like. And we'd all be in there. She'd be sitting in on the hob and she'd make tea for us all. And,
Which is just yeah.
I'm beginning to think, how did we have a sidecar and how did we have a radio? Where did we get it? We had nothing.
Yeah, when we're seven, well, yeah.
I don't know where
Yeah,
that
that's
came
right.
out of.
Yeah,
You know,
but
when
I
I'm
mean,
looking back
we had
to
to be
Gannon,
different.
there was no radio in Gannon.
That's right.
They had no sidecar.
Before
Yeah.
before we finish up, because we could go on all day, and I wanted to talk at the very finish, just a little word, because there's a very famous resident in Kilina that people wouldn't know necessarily about, and that was the Frenches.
Yeah.
And of course Percy French, the great playwright and musician and lilter, originated from Kilina.
Songwriter.
Right.
Songwriter and extraordinaire. So, Paddy, you're in the. You can just elaborate on that for a minute or two, just to let people know about it.
Paddy,
Well, I
you know,
remember me and Inda coming from school. I don't know if Inda can remember this or not. In 1956, we used to go home by school around the area, and Percy French's two daughters, Ethel and Joan, taking us in on two occasions and giving us tea and biscuits, you know.
Yeah.
And we'll say their nephew, Harry French, now was there at that time, which we a grandnephew of Percy's was here.
Yeah, that's right.
He had the place sold, I think, in 50 years or something like that. And all the Frenches moved away, so I mean that was, he got married and he had two sons someplace up in Meath, but we never had any more contact
Right.
with the Frenches
Which is a
other
pity.
than that, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, there was a fantastic house in it.
Oh,
Me and
fantastic,
this
yeah.
one here was often in the house, we'll say, where it was vacant for a few years, and the land, you know,
And the
before
basement,
the land
there was a basement in it.
yes, before the land was divided.
Yeah.
And it was a beautiful house. And it was a thing that's around the village and the surrounding area, when it was sold to the Land Commission, that it was, a horrible pity that this fine place of birthplace of Percy French's was, demolished. It was a lovely house. It
That's
had
right,
been a
yeah,
great
that's right.
attraction for tourists in later years, you know.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
But in general, the Frenches was very well liked.
Oh,
They were,
they
you know, like
good landlords,
Even
yeah.
that they were landlords. Yeah, they were
What was Ethel
very.
and Joan?
They were two daughters of
The
Percy.
daughters of Percy.
Yes. Which came, and the reason that they came was the time that they had a festival in Clooney Quinn, and was dancing and his music. And Brendan O'Dowd was down, he was a man that sang all his songs, and had more people that did his recitations and had dances and all that. That was in those years of 56 and 57.
And I collected the
That's
shilling at the
right.
door of French's house for people to go in and see it.
Yeah,
And all that
that's
was
right.
left was shelves of books in it.
That's right, that's
And
right.
they
But
oh,
they
to
seem to be very nice ladies. Do you remember being in the house
Oh, I
with me?
do. Oh, Paddy do that, yeah.
With Percy's daughters?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Ethel and-
Ethel and
Ethel
Joan.
and Joan.
Joan,
Yeah,
yeah.
So they would have left Kilina in 1957.
No, they weren't born there.
Oh, they were
No,
England.
they were Percy's daughters. Now.
Oh, yes.
They were born in England.
England, yeah.
Yeah, and they came over and they'd be invited over, and they must come over on
And
the
they always
holidays.
come.
Which Harry French was in it in our time, which left in 58 or 59, and he'd be a nephew of Percy's, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Percy's father's name was William French.
William.
Yeah.
And Percy then ended up in Clare.
Well, Percy would say it was in England. Oh yeah, like, the fantastic songs that Percy French wrote, was all about things that happened where he was. Like, he was sent to college in Dublin to UCD, but Percy, he had no heed on being educated. He was out singing songs around Dublin and writing bits of poems, and finally he was qualified as an engineer. So his first job was to go to Cavan with the Board of Works, and he was an inspector of drains, But the one about Clare, are you right there, Michael, are you right? which was a fantastic song. But he was he was in Ennis, and he was doing a play in Kilkee. So there was a narrow railway line, wasn't it? And the train broke down on the way, and Percy lost his, whatever he was getting for the night. So he sued the railway for the thing, and he lost it. And because he went back to court again, and he won it. And that's the way that they will say they were in a bog, and will say the song, are you right there, Michael, are you right?
That's where
so that's how that song was. The same in Cavan, Paddy Riley was Ellie James Duff, that was about immigration at the time, Or she had fantastic songs. Creesla in Donegal will say there was a lot of people having to go away to England and America, and it was all that time about, people, things that happened and people who had to go. And there was another great one he had about, we'll say, one was Phil the Floater's Ball, That was about a holy in a house, wasn't it,
Yeah.
And the little Mrs. Brady's in their private house and cats, they were there at the show on the night at this country house dance, and I suppose maybe it was about somebody going away again,
Yes.
Oh, he had some fantastic songs.
Great songs. But I just wanted to highlight that for the people that wouldn't know, obviously, this area.
Yeah, that he was here, a couple of miles of this area.
It was a shame they didn't keep the house.
Oh, it was a shame that they didn't keep the
And
house.
it didn't take a lot.
No, and they had two schools, they weren't the big landlords, but they had a Kilina school,
Wasn't school where John
and they had a
Brady is?
school in Comog, another
Where
school,
John Brady is,
yes,
wasn't that a school?
which would be, no, it was, but that would be an older one,
Yes.
back in the 1830s, 40s, I suppose,
But a shame, as you said, that the house wasn't retained.
Oh,
and
it
kept.
was.
What happened to the house, Paddy?
It's
But it was
not.
demolished, and all the stones were thrown up to Martico, drove them on a tractor and trailer, and they made the road in Carnykit. Carnykit will be another big farm owned by the Cottons, and there was a road. There was about 10 houses, 10 people brought from different parts. There's a couple from Loughlin, wasn't there, and Galway, got land,
And
and
they
the
put up
road
a
had
plaque.
to be made through it.
They have a plaque on the wall of Percy, and that's all.
That's all. Yeah,
That's what the stone ended up.
A
Yes.
little monument. Yeah.
That's a
Who
terrible
was
shame.
responsible for knocking it?
The Land Commission. The Land Commission, he took over the farm, and there was one particular man in the Land Commission, that seemed to hate those houses and people, and that's the why we'll say that anything that was owned by we'll say he caught a British, and landlords, and that's why all those, like the Clooney Quinn house was a lovely house. There was no need to knock it because it had been a massive house, The French's really was from French Park, that's why and Lord Dufresne wasn't there, one of them had a title, Lord Dufresne in French Park. But Clooney Quinn was only built we'll say they had a big amount of land there, only maybe 300 or 400 or 500 acres. And that was only built as a shooting lodge.
You're right.
Seemingly, back in the 1800s,
Hence it was small.
But that's where Percy Bridge was born.
Yeah. So, on that note, folks, I think we'll draw the conversation to a close for now.
Oh God.
There's plenty of great material there, I'm sure you'll agree, and whet your appetite, because I'm sure we'll revisit the same three characters again very soon for more stories. So it's been a great...
out to America to tell us again.
We'll have to bring you out to America, is right, to retell it live.
Yes.
Lord, give a leg for me.
I can't really go.
It's been a great hour and a half, Owen. I don't think we allowed for this length of time, and I'm sorry for holding you up. I know you were busy. But I just want to thank, first of all, the three participants. My mother, Rita Quinn, Paddy Beirne, great character, great story, well stories, and of course Inda, Jumbo, my old mate here on the end, great stories as well, and brilliant character. I'd like to thank Noel here beside me for earlier on his contribution with the Tulsk Historical Society. Thanks, Noel, for all your hard work. John Higgins, also with the Tulsk Historical Society, Milo Lowry, Eileen Byrne, Jody Moylan, and all the people that's involved, Mike Lennon and all the committee and all the members of the Historical Society, who are doing great work and it's not going unnoticed, that's for sure. Eileen as well, yeah, for sure. I'd like to thank my own family that came today. Fair play to you, Pat, my brother, Caroline, his lovely wife there, Ursula, my sister, and Kate, my sister as well. Fair play to you for showing up and taking time out. It was a lovely morning and it was interesting stuff. And like I said, it won't be the last time we'll visit this particular topic. I think it's important to keep a link with the past, and that's why it's so popular, this sort of thing, because people have a great interest in the past. They have a great sort of yearning to keep a link with the people of the generations before us. And it's great to see people like this share their stories and share their funny stories and their sad stories, and it's all part of who we are. And I get that every day of the week out there in Chicago, and also from people from New York and from San Francisco, all over North America, as well as I'm sure people in Australia, England. Anybody that ever immigrated has a great hunger for information and a hunger for learning and for stories, exactly like some of the stories that we heard today. I mean, this is gold dust, for an awful lot of people out there. So I'm hoping that you'll gain information and some enjoyment from it. I know you will. All of the pictures, all of the information will be posted on our website and on our Facebook pages. And as I said, all of these beautiful photographs that were taken, plus others that I took today, will all be loaded up over the weekend. So once again, folks, all that remains for me to say is thanks very, very much. And thanks to Paddy and to Marion especially for making their house available to us today. And thanks very much, Marion. She's outside in the kitchen now. She's plied us with drink. Thanks to John Higgins. He gave me some, as me aunt used to call it, holy water. I'd say it's closer to poaching than holy water, but anyways, it's good stuff. So thanks to everybody. Thanks to the family again. We'll have some more photographs with the family in a little while. And thanks to Owen for doing the TV and the video. So on that note, folks, it's goodbye from Tulsk, and we'll see you soon again. We'll be doing a show from Tampa in Florida in 2 weeks' time, so we'll see you then. Thanks, folks. And thanks again.
Very good.
Very good. That was